Let's give him a round welcome for Peter Barany. Peter, man, again, thanks a lot. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Paul. Really appreciate it.
I kind of just want to start off with, what did you do before the insurance game, and then what got you into the insurance game?
Originally from Hungary, born and raised, moved to Sweden when I was a little kid. Ended up here in the U.S. in 1997 on a soccer scholarship. Was only supposed to be a 4-year stint, and then ended up becoming a pro soccer player for a few years, and then ended up staying for a girl here in the U.S. and moved to the West Coast from the East Coast, and ended up in corporate America in 2002, and then ended up in Seattle in 2006. Was working as a director of operations for a company in corporate America, and got out of that field. I was just burned out. I worked for the same company for almost 18 years and tried to switch positions within the organization. They said they were going to let me. It never happened. They just wanted to keep me in operations. I was going to go and become a salesperson, actually. And once again, I was just burned out. And then left corporate America in 2019, January of 2019. And then my wife and I started a real estate investment company. I did something that she wanted to do, so I told her that I would kind of do a startup with her for about a year. And then, saw Harold with our old company on a Zoom, and ended up going to work for that company in May of 2020, right when the pandemic had just started. So everything was virtual at that point. And yes, got my license, studied hard for 10 days, got in with AIL, and then Harold and Nicole moved over here.
Let's say for any viewers that might see this out there, when these people are talking about captive versus non-captive, was that a big decision for you on why you left?
Oh, absolutely.
Non-captive? Okay.
I mean, having the opportunity, being a broker and really working with all these different companies and being able to protect people that I was never able to protect with this other company. People that are going through cancer. Yeah, it's maybe not the policy that they're looking for, but I can still help them, right? I mean, and that's the ultimate goal. I mean, listen, we all want things in life. We can't have everything we want. It's just, you just really got to build that rapport and just be honest with people that, hey, listen, I wish I could get you this, but it's not possible. And there are people that are going to still not take it, which is fine. But then there are the people that are going to be very, very grateful that I am still able to help. That's a huge factor.
One thing I wanted to ask you too, I think you've been around long enough that you could probably give us a little bit of an idea of what you think our group offers and what's different about our group versus even other agencies within the IMO we're currently in. What would you say the difference as far as our community, our resources, what's different here that makes it such a great fit?
Yeah, just being able to get the leads that you want, all the different kinds of leads, whether it's Hall of Fame, whether it's internet leads, whether it's final expense. Honestly, being able to be in control of the leads that you're getting, and the community and this whole platform with the CRM that we have built, absolutely amazing.
I kind of want to dive into the way you do things on a daily basis, right? So what's your regimen like? What do you do when you get up to all the way to when you go to bed? What's like your regimen?
Usually it's getting up in the morning, anywhere between 5 and 6, going for an hour workout, whether it's a long walk, whether it's a hike, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's now, going skiing late afternoons or weekends. But if I do have an early workout in, I'll start my day at 7. I work all time zones. I work in 45 states currently. So I work all the way from East Coast, all the way to Hawaii. So honestly, most days, if it's not 7 o'clock, I'm definitely in my office by 8. And I usually don't stop until 6, 7 p.m. at the earliest. But really, if I'm looking at my calendar today, for example, let's just pull up the calendar for today. So my first appointment this morning was at 8 o'clock. I was in the office at 7:30. And my last appointment right now, I just booked one for 5:30 tonight. So that's gonna go till hopefully at least 6:30. But if I can book, and my appointments are 45 minutes. That's how I book my appointments. So, but I literally can still take appointments all the way up to 8 p.m. my local time. And once again, if I work in Hawaii and they can meet at 7 o'clock their time, that's going to be 9 o'clock my time. I'll do it. I mean, once again, there's no set hours that I work, but I definitely work. When I do work, I work anywhere from 9 to 14 hours. And I'm literally in my office. And if I'm not in an appointment, I'm texting, I'm dialing, or I'm emailing.
How many appointments do you think you average a day?
My goal, I would say 5 to 6 probably on average. You have some days where I have 10 appointments. We all know you have 10 appointments in your calendar. It's a miracle if all 10 show up. That's just reality, right? So hopefully out of the 10, you can have at least 60, 70% show up. So the more appointments you have, the more opportunity to present, the more opportunity to actually have a sale and protect a family, right? But I would say on average, 5 to 6 appointments a day. I have, like I said, I have days when I have 10 appointments. I also have days when I have 2, 3 appointments.
Now, I noticed a lot of your sales, you have higher average of AP. Kind of take us through what it is that what type of a lead are you running? What type of client are you seeing? And how do you make a pitch that you're getting higher AP results?
Most of my leads are abandoned ethos leads, and a lot of times they're looking for a quote, right? So I know that if I'm going to give them simplified issue, I'm not going to end up with a sale. So a lot of my sales are fully underwritten, but I'm never ever shying away from what they're looking for. They're looking for $1 million policy. I'm going to show them $1 million policy, but I'm also going to explain to them, because some people are going to be, oh, that's way too expensive. Well, but that's what you asked for. So if that is way too much, I'm going to tell you, I'm a broker. I work with all these carriers. This is the best you're going to find. So you really have, and I'll share you an email that I just sent to a client. You have 2 options. You either lower the coverage so that it's affordable, because it is obviously the most important thing with getting coverage is that it's affordable to you on a monthly basis. Yeah, if I want $1 million coverage, but I can afford it, what good is it going to do to put that $1 million coverage in place? It's not going to do any good, because you're not going to have it very long. You're not going to be happy, and you're not going to protect them, right? So you really have 2 options: lower the coverage or not get any coverage.
Peter, it looks like a lot of your business is fully underwritten, like you said earlier. Is there any specific carriers that you seem to lean more towards, and does it have to do with age bracket, or what are you seeing that you kind of fall into more?
Most of them will probably be Mutual of Omaha. I would say that's my go-to, fully underwritten. Their price is really good. Banner sometimes will be cheaper. I'm gonna try Mutual of Omaha. I just had someone who got declined with Mutual of Omaha over the weekend, and then we submitted a policy with Banner, because he's like, hey Peter, I figured it would happen. I was like, well, he's like, I'll reapply again in 6 months. I was like, well, would you want to apply again now if I have another carrier? He's like, absolutely, let's do it. So just submitted another application with Banner, and I've had success. I've had Mutual get declined, and then I'll switch to NLG, and they got approved. So just because they get declined with one carrier doesn't mean they're gonna decline with the next one. So
on the submitting of business, whether it's Mutual of Omaha, are you seeing that you're doing more IULs or whole life policies? What are you seeing that you're
So IULs, mostly National Life Group. Honestly, they tend to be best price with their living benefits for their IULs. I've had most success with them. Term fully underwritten will be Mutual of Omaha. I still do some term with National Life Group, and like I said, with Banner. If it's smaller, if you're talking 50,000 term, right? Usually it's 100,000 plus that I do Mutual of Omaha fully underwritten. Well, you can't do anything less than 100,000 fully underwritten. You just can't. And same, I think, with NLG. Now, if it's IULs, if it's usually larger than 300,000, then Mutual of Omaha, I think their max is 300,000. So I usually tend to do National Life Group. Plus, once again, they tend to be cheaper. I just looked at $100,000 IUL with Mutual of Omaha for someone. And then also a lot of times people want a whole life policy, and that ends up going into an IUL because they never heard of it, kind of explain how that works, and then you can get that cheaper than a whole life policy. So that's what I end up with. But yeah, but like I said, if it's simplified issue less than 100,000, then I'm doing American Amicable, Americo, Prosperity, Foresters, whatever.
I kind of wanted to just go through your script.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sure.
All right.
Hey Paul, this is Peter. We had that scheduled appointment today. Is this still a good time for you?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. Paul, let me just verify a couple of things before I get going on this. Now, I want to make sure you're in the state of Washington, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and then you're born in 1970, right?
Yeah, I'm an old man.
No, you're not. A little bit older than I am, but anyway. And then, hey, listen, one thing that I do have to verify is, since I work in not only the state of Washington, but in 45 other states, is that you received my text message with all my information. Did you get that text by any chance?
Yes, I did.
Did you have a chance to look at it?
Not really, no.
Okay, that's fine. You can click on the link. I just have to verify that it is in your text message inbox, because like I said, I do work with 45 different states. And also, I know that you requested the information with Ethos. I want to let you know that I don't only work with Ethos, I work with another 30 carriers in your state. So my job is super simple. I'm literally just going to ask a couple of questions about your height, weight, what type of coverage you're exactly looking for, and how much coverage. I'll put that into our proprietary system. All the carriers will pop up. That's going to give you the coverage. I'll go over it with you in detail, answer any questions you may have. And at the end of the day, it's your decision if you want to submit an application to see if you can get the coverage. Any questions?
Sounds good. No, sounds good.
That's what I did.
Boom.
Once again, just be confident. I mean, and I know it's easier said than done, especially when you're new, but get as many reps as you can in the beginning, because honestly, the more sits, the more phone calls you've had, the more comfortable you're. I've been doing this not very long, but I've been doing this. It's coming up on 4 years in May. I'm confident enough when I talk to people that I give them what they want, and I'm able to finagle if for some reason the price is too much or whatever, to get them to understand that this is their best option. Be honest, make sure you're professional, and be confident in what you do. And you'll be surprised how far that's going to get you. And that's when the referrals come into play. It's separate, where you feel like you build a relationship where people are like, well, I'm going to send you my wife and my kids and my cousin and my next door neighbor. And
do you do anything to follow up on APS or parameds?
Yes. I mean, that's doing a lot of fully underwritten policies. You've got to be organized, because there is a lot of follow-up. I mean, I had 2 this morning. I talked to the client. As soon as I talked to the client, I called the carrier, made sure that they had the information. So there's a lot of follow-up with a lot of these leads. Same thing, once you email, once you send a text message, if you're not organized, because with the CRM, and they're going to get lost in translation. So you got to be organized.
Can you go over your pivot from whole life to IUL?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, honestly, the way I tell them is the biggest difference is with an IUL, you're not going to have a guaranteed cash value, right? Because it works with the index, it works with the market. So that number is going to fluctuate. So if I do a whole life policy, and usually tends to be Transamerica if they're looking at like 150,000, 100,000, 200,000, and I can show them, or I can tell them I can't show them if I'm not on Zoom, but you're able to tell them, if you cancel this policy in 10 years, this is how much money you put into it, and this is what your surrender value is. I can tell you that today, what that's going to be in 10 years, because it's a guaranteed cash value. With an IUL, there is no, because that number is fluid. It could be more, it could be less, but it's not guaranteed. A lot of times, it is harder to qualify for an IUL, right? It's just the requirements, the underwriting requirements might be a little bit tougher than whole life. But if you are healthy, you can qualify for it. They tend to be cheap.
What's one thing that if you could reach out and to any entrepreneurial person or someone who's not working with us, what's one thing on why you think an opportunity here with us in our group is best for them?
One thing?
Okay, name 3. If you got 3, Peter.
Well, the people, honestly, everyone here. I have yet to meet anyone that I don't, and it's not the same, like, it's not like, but just friendly. You know, give advice, no hesitation, just a really good group of people. That's number one. The work environment is amazing, and we do it all virtually from a distance,
Yeah.
whatever. The CRM that Samir and everyone has built is absolutely an amazing added tool. You know, not just the only thing that we should rely on, but a great added tool to what we're doing. And then the third thing is of course the opportunity to work with all these different carriers, not being just stuck with one option, but you're able to help so many more people with all these different carriers that we have. So I mean, those would be the top three things.
All right, man. Thanks again, Peter, man. I really appreciate you stopping by and like really just breaking down everything you do. It's really consistent with what the other people we've had come on that are high producers, and I hope everybody hears what you said today, and it really translates to them being able to write more business too. So, hey, man, thanks. I really
Oh, thank
appreciate
you
you.
for having me on. No, I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone. Yeah.